This is the first moving picture taking session that we had when we bought our camera in Hong Kong. And we call those the Chinese junks in the harbor.
What year was this?
Probably about 1960. I think you were about 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's Mary on the right,
that's
and Ginny,
right.
and Nate, and Mom, Ruth Brewer, and Robbie.
This is the some of the gardens up. That looks like one of the birds. We went to some of the bird gardens there in Hong Kong. People who visit there would probably remember what these are. The poinsettias are so gorgeous. They're huge. The kids are having fun running around. And this is the view from the funicular railroad, I think.
Oh, well, you go straight
yes,
up,
you
huh?
see, and then here are the Tiger Balm Gardens. The gardens have all kinds of unique looking statuary and pagodas. They were called Tiger Balm, I suppose, by the person who invented that ointment. These are pornographic pictures, I think. The Orientals love their pictures of that nature. And this must be Mr. Tiger Balm himself. I'm amused by the clothes the boys are wearing because we had those shirts made.
You had them made in Hong Kong, or?
No, we had them made in Karachi. This is one of the little boats that ply the harbor, and people live on the boats all the time. But you can see that they know how to maneuver themselves.
And how about in the storms? How do they manage to live
Oh,
on the boats?
they have a warning system, and they have to get themselves as far in as they can and to tie up their boats. And they lose many of them. They lose people too. This is just more of the same harbor traffic.
It was lots of people living in Hong Kong when you went? I mean, now it's
Oh,
so
yes.
crowded.
Well, I'm sure it was crowded then. And
Is it next year that Hong Kong is going to be turned back into
I believe it
communist
is.
China?
There's Mebet in a rickshaw and smiling away, just enjoying herself.
Like a princess.
Yeah. And then I was trying to dicker with the rickshaw driver to find out how much it was going to cost to ride this rickshaw. And here I am looking at Daddy, who's taking the picture, and trying to get some help with this.
He spoke English?
I don't remember. This, of course, is the airport. The airport is built right into the bay. Now, suddenly we've jumped to Pakistan. Actually, it's India. This is Agra, where the Taj Mahal is located.
Oh.
And it's the most beautiful building, even though you've seen pictures of it. It's breathtaking when you actually see it. Some people go back in the moonlight and have another treat. I think Joe and Dave did that in the moonlight.
Oh, I bet it glistens.
It does, because that marble is unique. And
Did we drive from Karachi?
yeah, I think we took a train, and then we had to drive back because we couldn't coordinate our trip with the airline schedule. And it was risky driving back because of all the animals on the road and the taxi drivers.
Well, if you took a train there, and then how did you drive? How did you get your car to drive back?
Oh, there's a taxi service.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the taxis do this all the time. These are the ladies in their saris.
How long a drive is
And,
it from Karachi?
I just don't remember. This is so typical of the Indian family. They love to go on a pilgrimage to the Taj. Beautiful things. There's so many interesting architectural features about this building. When you look up from the inside, you think the towers or columns are even, but they aren't. They're made so that they look even all the way up, but they're enlarged so that they don't disappear into the heavens, so to speak.
Oh.
Now, this is back in Karachi at Hawke's Bay. We had a beach house that we were able to go to on a regular basis, and it gave us a relief from being in Karachi itself. Of course, Ginny looking for all kinds of
So
sea
what
creatures.
What has he got
And
there?
he's probably selling shrimp or lobster, and there are some of them. Just giant crawdads is what they are. I don't remember who this man is.
Sharp rocks, huh?
Yeah, really sharp. He should have had some of those shoes on. That man may still be around. What have you got, Ginny? Who knows? The boys love rock climbing. It's nice to see the three of them together. The ocean didn't have very much in the way of wave action in the winter time. It was very calm. Then this is downtown Karachi, kind of the entry to Elphinstone Street, I think.
What is that
That
statue?
it looks like a quarter note, but I don't know what it is.
And
this is a little oasis in the desert. I think we're on our way to Hala, which is where we bought that brownish cookie jar that we have.
Yeah.
And it's just a little oasis. Now this is Lahore, and you'll see in a few minutes a man and woman who are some very close friends came to visit us. His name is Arbab, but you wouldn't recognize him now. He has grown so old through illness, but he made a trip with his wife to see us just 2 months ago.
How did you know him?
He was the chief of police, and Dad worked with him in Pakistan professionally. And there, I think this may have been his bride. He had many Pakistani men have country wives and city wives, but I think it was an arranged marriage.
They have one of each?
Yeah. The city wife was usually someone who could speak English and be a little bit more of a show person. This is the car we had, the sedan that we used to travel all over Pakistan.
And is it the one that you brought from the United States?
It is, and we took it back because at the time we weren't able to sell it. Now this, that little girl, I'm not sure whether she belonged to the family that we were with, but we sometimes went visiting these places. These are old tombs with other Pakistani families. So I hardly remember who it was.
I remember eating watermelon by the side of the road.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny how I
there's
remember
Wheaton.
that. Oh, how cute.
My goodness, he was just a little boy, wasn't he?
Was he two?
Probably. By then we would have been there for a
while. It looks
while.
like it's very hot there, the way this is all bleached out.
This is
The
a
sun
little
was bright.
balcony. I can't believe that we'd walk out on it because I think this building was in ruins. And that balcony could have just come tumbling down with that weight. But,
Did they have tour guides at these ruins?
oh, only probably the friends that went with us. And there maybe have been some little folders that we could pick up. I know I've come across some in my searching through papers. That's typical shape of those.
Yeah, it looks like the Taj Mahal, actually.
Those buildings are all kind of like that.
What century were these things built?
Ooh, probably maybe the 12th, maybe earlier. I don't know what all of this is. It's a little hard to see, but it sure looks like barren desert to me. Now here are some camel carts and oxen carts. This is probably, well, I'm not really sure. We took a lot of trips outside of the city, and I don't remember exactly where this one led us. Oh, now I remember what this is all about. This is the academy up out of Rawalpindi, I think, and those soldiers have all been trained to be in the armed forces. Pretty soon you'll see a bagpipe display. There are plenty of these little um, tents covering the spectators, and you often had to be there an hour or two before it started. You see the slow march? This is all very carefully practiced. It's all British origin. And some of these soldiers are, oh, what is it the term they give to them? They're really special Indian people that take great pride in their soldiery. And then, of course, we have the men's. Do they look like they're in kilts? I think they are.
Mm.
I'm not sure. Maybe we can tell when we get the picture on the other monitor. Oh, this is the Karachi American School. That's
Looks
Ginny
like I'm conducting.
conducting. Yes.
No.
Yeah, she was chosen to be the.
Oh,
there-
no, that little girl
wasn't
wasn't
Ginny.
me.
It was I remember that girl. Used to know her name, but she dressed in this lovely costume with the mirrors all over it, and she was the teacher of the preschool. That was Mary that just came in and turned. She's the second one from the left. Now I don't
What
know which
event
one.
is this?
The graduation, I think.
Graduation from?
From probably elementary school or junior high.
Goodness.
I'm not sure. They didn't have a high school there, I think, and so she looked like it was junior high. And this is a sports event. This is we have, these are friends that we still know. No, I think she died in recent years. She had about 12 children. Mary Ann was her name. I just can't remember. She was so blasé about the whole thing. She constantly had books she was reading, and it didn't matter to her that she had a dozen children.
Oh.
She could just lose herself in anything she undertook.
Boy, beautiful.
Beautiful horses. Those people pride themselves on well-trained horses.
Is this in Karachi?
It probably is. They had special horse events and polo games and other kinds of games. One was called kabaddi, and I think that comes up a little bit later where it's like a football.
So this is, it's not polo?
Yeah, well, this is polo.
Oh, okay.
And polo originated in the East. I think it originated in India.
So this is where the British learned it?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Those are beautiful turbans that the soldiers wear. And the material is kind of a silk taffeta. Keeps its shape and flares out like that in the breeze.
Look at those camels.
And look at the camels. Aren't they something? They look comfortable. I mean, they're not, but they look comfortable riding on them.
Yes. I wonder if they still do this kind of ceremony thing.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Now this is filled with wheat.
Oh.
It looks like a ship, doesn't it? See, those are big bags of wheat hanging on the back. Robbie and Nate went over to see them do all of this work, and I think that's when we discovered that they both had a tendency toward asthmatic, hay fever kind of thing. But you can imagine with all of that chaff blowing in the air, we can give it to anybody. That's Wheaton and Mevett. Now, here's where the bagpipes are being played. and that bagpiper is so amused by the children following him. He could barely play. And Jenny just walking backwards. Remember that little
Yes.
dress? I don't know what happened to it, but I still have mine that matches it. This is looking out from the place where that bagpiper is playing. I guess we're looking into the range of mountains beyond. Dad always had an affinity for mountains and loved to show pictures of them. This, I'm not sure, looks like it might be blended in with some pictures going up to the Kagan Valley. What do you think? Did we
Yes,
see
I
that?
think this goes
Yes.
right into the Kagan Valley.
And this is another trip we made without Wheaton, and he always made us feel like we were mean
Why-
not to take him
Oh,
along.
because he was too young.
But he was too young and wouldn't have enjoyed it at all.
Well, I think he understands now that he has his three
Now
little
that he has
children.
little ones. He's going to bring his 3 little ones next week. Now there's Ginny and Nate walking over the little bridge on the River Kwai, not the Kwai over in Burma, but the River Kwai in Pakistan. And just swinging their arms. We have wonderful memories of that.
That wasn't staged?
Well, in a matter of speaking, we asked them to walk over, but we didn't tell them to hold hands and swing like just so. This looks like it's Quetta. I think I remember that we were looking through those rocks.
Now, is this when we drove on the road? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I beg your pardon. That wasn't Quetta. This is still part of the Kagan Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was this the one-lane road that
Yep. Uh-huh.
dropped right off the edge?
And you can see that it just about rubbed the top of the Jeep as we went under some of those ledges.
Mm.
And we had to stop and camp one night because we couldn't go any farther.
Looks like it's a little bit cold.
It was.
Look at those fish.
It was
kind of
something
fish
else,
are
aren't
they?
Oh, I think they're kind of a
So-
trout.
So they're comparing sizes and who caught the biggest
Right.
fish, huh?
Uh-huh.
You suppose?
Look at that.
Did they catch all these fish?
Well,
The boys?
yeah. I'm sure Dad and maybe not the Dad and Rob and Nate. I don't think we had another family with us. There's Dad. I wonder if I was taking this picture. And Mebet was up cleaning the potatoes. We were going to have fish and potatoes for dinner, and I think she got up and dropped the potatoes in the fire, and everybody was angry with her. Oh, dear.
Oh, I have to answer that call.
Why?
You keep going.
Oh, okay. This is a picture of Nathan walking along, Ginny, I guess, walking along with me. And here's Mary laying out the fish very beautifully. I think it was all right to take these pictures after we found out there was no need to be careful about it. This is our shikari, the one on the left. He could speak a little bit of English, and Dad could speak a little bit of Urdu, and they got along beautifully, just exchanging sentences every now and then. This is the entrance to one of the little houses that the local people lived in way up there in the Kagan. They were so close to each other, the ceiling and the floor and the walls, and how they lived that way, I'll never know, but they had to conserve space and heat in the winter time. So that's the way they did it. And here's one of them with her oxen. This is a picture of fish and more fish. I think the boys were trying to decide how many they could eat and how many they could take home. Now, look at that. They're counting them and measuring them. Look at those fish, Ginny. There's so many of them, but they're all big.
Were they easy to catch?
I imagine they were because obviously they caught plenty of them.
Doesn't look like there's a limit law.
Yeah, there was a limit.
There was a limit
Yeah.
law.
More of the same.
Oh, Mary's getting into it. Is that her? Is that she?
Yep.
Did we go on this kind of camping trip very often?
Well, yeah, we took numbers of camping trips as a family, way out in the desert to see archaeological sites, and you remember the name Mohenjo-daro and Taxila, Quetta.
Goodness, I wish I was older then. So that-
Could remember some of those things.
Mhm.
But this, of course, was such a great fishing trip.
Oh, I remember this.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
This is what you call glissading.
Now, who's that? Is that
That's
Dad?
Dad.
All right. Finally, somebody else is holding the camera.
Yeah. I think. I'm not sure. You know, it's a little dark, and this is not as good as the other monitor.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty, isn't it?
Looks like it's in color, actually.
Yeah. You mean the first was not?
Maybe it was. I just didn't. There, look at that.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now this is called the Forest Rest House. I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember the name of the place, but it was on top of a mountain, and the British people built these high up so they could have some cool suburbs out of Karachi. And when we got to the top, we discovered our brakes were gone. And so Dad had to work on them and tie things together, and somehow or other he managed to get that car to work so that when we went down the hill, I don't know whether we pulled a heavy log behind us or what it was, but somehow or other we managed to get down to the bottom without an accident. And when Nate looked out across the valley, he said, I think somebody who built this road who played cars when he was a little boy. We always thought that maybe Nate would be a builder. I think he's growling at some noise she hears outside. There's a, I guess we probably call that the Lizard Rock. I've seen one of those all over the world. It seems like everywhere you go, there's a rock like that. In Cape Town, South Africa, they call it Table Mountain. Now this is some kind of a a jeep that, oh, this is when we went out in the desert with the Minton family. That's Madge Minton. And I don't remember Dr. Minton's first name, but he liked to take us to exciting places like this beautiful pond where there could easily be a crocodile. And I think there really was that night.
No.
Yeah. But somehow or other, the Brewer boys scared him away. Yeah. That's neat. Not exactly an expert swimmer, but doing pretty well. And there was Robbie pretending to have hit something, and in a minute she'll have all the gyrations to go with, I hit it, I hit it. Oh, this is when he put the rifle up to his shoulder. There, see? Good actor, good actor. Now the Mintons are giving us a little tour.
Beautiful rock.
Isn't that pretty out on the bay? I
Makes
don't
me
know the
wanna
name of
swim
that.
out there and climb it.
Yeah, uh-huh. I don't know the
Is that a
name of that.
lighthouse?
It's a lighthouse. And these are rocks that that's a lizard. And Dinky just barely saw it. Now that's the lizard again, and in a minute Dinky's going to see it. Yeah. You know, at home sometimes Dinky would see an animal on television and run and chase it. I don't know whether Dad just put her up to it. Says, there she is.
Oh,
This is
Dinky.
Dinky
You mean
one.
Elsa? You mean Elsa?
Is that Elsa?
That's Elsa.
Oh, that's Elsa. Now that's the Trinity or Holy Trinity Church in Karachi where I played the organ and the piano.
Nice organ?
No, it was an organ that broke down all the time.
And who's this?
That's Ginny, and that's Stephen. Stephen was the son of Grace, who was the Amma. I think this is a kite. Now, there's our friend the Mintons. They loved reptiles. We're always ready to show us one.
They kept them as pets?
Oh yeah, they had what they
Okay,
called a pangolin in their house as a pet. They could climb up into the medicine cabinet.
Okay, tell me about this guy.
This guy is an early morning fisherman,
Uh-huh.
and he throws his net way out and then brings it in. And I think I took a picture meaning to give you an idea of how they fish in the morning. They may only get one fish in that net. Doesn't look like he was too successful.
All that trouble.
Yeah, all that trouble. Oh, there he is, being very
Did they
careful
like being
with his
photographed?
net. I don't know.
Maybe they didn't even know what you were doing.
Well, probably they did. Now, let's see, what are we doing here? We're looking for some chards that you find in these desert places that prove another existence, another people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may be Walter Fairservice from the Natural Museum of History, or Museum of Natural History in New York. I came across a letter from him the other day. I thank Dad for sending him some news about something to do with archaeology. And I don't know who that is. That certainly isn't Dad. That might be Mr. Minton. That, who is really a doctor. That sure looks interesting, but I'm not certain. It must be more of the same thing. You walk and walk for miles to find the site of an early civilization. Okay, we gotta answer these phones when they ring. I would like very much to have something more to say about this, but anyway, here's a picture of Dad, and I think this is a kind of a ring, sun ring. But Dad's explaining something about the terrain. I think this is okay. I think this is one of the trips out. Now, shall I hold on to Dinky and you hold on the mic? Okay, because otherwise she'll jump. This is one of the trips out in the desert, and I believe this, of course, is a camel train right now. But there are several men who go out and look over the sites in the archaeological areas outside of Karachi. This is a point that obviously they found, and they can tell from what dynasty or what what period of history that it occurred. Here's one of the native huts. These people live out there. I don't know whether he's a guard for the site or not. Now, this is Dr. Sherm Minton, one of our good friends in Karachi, who took us to some native areas. I think this particular scene is the game called Kabaddi. It's kind of like a polo without the horses. And they have to, it's also almost a rugby game. They have to capture a bladder and take it over the goal line. I don't yet see the particular thing that they were carrying, but you can see they wear very little or nothing at all because there are no rules to this game. Almost anything goes. Takes a pretty tough cookie to be able to play it and come through unscathed. I don't know any of the rules or any of the particular goals that they have in mind, except that they probably draw a goal in the sand. Here's one of the trips that you can take on a fishing boat, and that's Ginny right there. And I can see in the foreground, here's another scene. This looks like a birthday party.
Whose birthday?
Oh,
Nate's birthday?
well, who knows? That looked like Nate. And you see the cake is overpowering the rest of it. This could have been cut out. But I don't know, maybe somebody will remember.
Somebody's birthday
Now, fun in the front yard in Karachi. You can see that Ginny,
Hold this for me.
yeah, Ginny and Wheaton are playing in the little baby pool. This is how they build a house. They have a fire brigade with scaffolding up above the lower parts to carry cement right up to the top. People carry it over their shoulder and onto their heads, and then back around they go. Here's a Boy Scout camp. Boy Scouts was pretty strong when we were there. Old-fashioned tents. The kids had a lot of fun going out in the boonies. This particular scene shows the family outing with the Mintons and swimming in a crocodile pool. Fortunately, the crocodiles were afraid of us. There's the tent again.
Those old-fashioned
It looks like, now we're at Hawke's Bay, where the turtles have come in to lay their eggs. And when they finish laying their eggs, Dinky, she's barking at the wind out there. When they lay their eggs in the sand, then they determinedly walk back to the water, and you can't deter them at all. You can ride their backs right to the breakers. Here the kids are at Hawke's Bay. You can see the breakers are not too wild.
That's Mary and Nate.
Yeah, that's Mary and Nate. I keep forgetting that Well, I know that's Mary, but I keep forgetting which of the boys it is because I can't believe that they were ever that small or that young. Mary has always been so helpful with teaching the boys how to do certain things that she already knows. Like that diving in is good. And you can see it isn't too wild for them. The the saving grace for Karachi, of course, was to be able to go to the beach on the weekends. And we had a nice beach hut, which had very few amenities, but at least it was a place to
Isn't
kinda
that where
cook.
Nate accidentally drank a bottle of, or Robbie drank a bottle of?
Oh, they didn't drink it. They probably tasted. I think it was Nate. I think they were
Bottle of
thirsty,
kerosene.
and we had uh, kerosene in a bottle instead of water, which was poorly marked. Here are the fishermen working on their boats. It must have been cold that morning because those kids had on sweaters. Here's downtown Karachi. That's the Holy Trinity Church where Mabit was confirmed by Bishop Chandu Ray. There may be a picture of that in here pretty soon. This church was built by the British. There's a picture. I think that's a statue of Queen Victoria. This is probably called Victoria Square. And the organ was interesting. It was an old kind of pump organ that was pumped by the boys of the church and then electrified later on. You see the camels are in the traffic along with the buses. Now we're talking into the film so that the film has a narration. See,
But I can't hear you.
you can't?
No, it's
Oh.
all right.
It'll come out later. And then there's the boys playing baseball. That's Robbie hitting. And there he goes just as fast as he can go. And he's ready to run on the next one. Oh, he is a competitor. Yeah, look at that. I don't know who that one is. I think this was a team that only Robbie was on. Nate was probably a little too young for it. Anyway, this was the start of some of Robbie's athletic activity. There he is right there. Looks so much like a young Rob. There's Nate in his uniform. Isn't that cute? And Wheaton coming up behind. Now this is Christmas Day with Mahboob's family, Mahboob and Grace, and Stephen in the background. There's Mahboob. Ginny used to call him my boob. It was so funny. I didn't know that word for a long time until I heard her say it later on. And Mahboob's daughter there and little boy. And I think that's Mahboob's wife. Yeah, the glasses reflect the light, which is too bad, made her look kind of strange. Now this is a typical event outside the house of someone who's getting married, and they play these songs. This is Grace, Wheaton's Amma, Wheaton and Ginny's Amma. I have to talk fast because we moved from one scene to the other. This is the Boy Scout troop going out from our house, and they're going up over the hill and out somewhere because we lived right on the edge of Karachi. And somebody in the group has a chocolate cake.
Look how big those backpacks are.
Yeah, they're huge backpacks. And I don't know for how long they're going out, maybe just a day or maybe overnight. Of course, we were always concerned if they went overnight, we had plenty of adults along because you never knew what was going to happen out in the desert, wild dogs and so forth. This is our front yard, which eventually fell into the street during one rainy storm. But anyway, it was on good level ground for a while, and the boys are practicing their jumping. They improvised a lot of things like this because there wasn't the availability of the kind of parks that we have here in the United States. Wheaton with a cute little red vest that I can remember. it was so much fun having the children in Karachi because they experienced some of the strange new things that we did. And now that's
Elsa.
no, is that Long
No,
Sob?
long sob.
That must have been Long Sob.
Oh. And the reason is you chose the name long sob?
One of Daddy's secretaries chose Long Sob because her servant said to her one day, "Mam Sob, uh, um, your friend came to see you," and she said, "Who was it?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know his name. It was a Long Sob," which means he was a very tall man.
Tall man.
A tall man. So we thought that was such a good name for a dog, especially a dog like this one. I don't remember how we got Long Sob.
Remember how long sob died?
Oh yeah,
Talk about that.
the dogs, the wild dogs there, outside of Karachi, often were scary things to confront, and that's why you never let your children go out alone because they could easily be hurt.
So long sob
In
was
so many
attacked
ways.
by
Yeah, a pack of wild dogs
pack of wild
picked her up right outside the compound, and somehow or other we got her back, and
I remember that was hard
she died.
for Mebit.
Oh yeah, she died in Mebit's arms, and Mebit was very sad about that dog. Mebit was Mary. We called her Mebit when she was a girl. We still call her that. I can't remember what this scene is. As I say, we jump from one picture to another in these home movies, and you have to.
It's from a plane.
Yeah, it is from a plane, but I don't remember what part of the. Maybe this was the Indus River. I don't know. I haven't any idea. It may have been part of Karachi, or it may have been some area that Dad flew over. Those are beautiful mountains way off in the distance. And I know he could tell you exactly where it is because he remembers those things so well. Oh, it's part of his business to remember. Yeah. We're landing now, I think. Maybe we're coming into, well, I can't even guess. In a few minutes we'll see. Oh, this is Lahore. Lahore is a city about halfway up the in the country of Pakistan. Those are the tongas, the little horse-drawn carts.
Philippines, it was called Calesas.
Yeah, they were called a kalesa in the Philippines. And the traffic going through is typical of a lot of Eastern countries. Well, that's all right. I don't think it matters. There, you saw that ambulance going by.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. Well, I must be playing the organ in Trinity Church. Is that a picture of me? I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think it's you.
It is? Yeah, my goodness, that's the old organ there in that church that you saw earlier.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. This must be Holy Trinity Church in Karachi, where I occasionally played the organ for services. And the funny part about this organ is that it had to be kept alive. Here we have a swimming pool. There were a few of these outside of Karachi where you could go for the day, and this may have been a Boy Scout outing. Here is one of our family trips. We went to a place called Cote d'Iji. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Cote d'Iji was an ancient fort, and there was nobody taking care of it, but probably occasionally somebody would. The boys walked in and down into the inner depths of them. You can see them going down, and there they are coming up the steps. They found a huge cannonball down there, and we still use it for kind of a book bookend. Let's see what happens in the next scene. This is the same fort again. Cote d'Iji means, I think, Fort d'Iji, whatever d'Iji means. Those are buttresses, Karen. Remember the buttresses that we put up on the wall at the mission?
Yeah.
That's what they're called. And those are the little caps on the buttresses, those little things that we cut into the foam. Now here the boys are going down in to the bottom of this. It must have been a reservoir, because when they walked down into it, you could see they picked up this huge cannonball. And it was probably used, it had been chipped out of a large stone, probably used in the early days for cannon practice. Now this is one of the beautiful flowering trees. That was short.
Who's that in the bathtub?
I think it was Mebbit in the bathtub. This is the way they wash the clothes. And if you give your clothes to Adobe, is what he was called, he would walk over to the nearest river and wash them this way. You had to be pretty careful about what clothing you gave him if he was going to pound them on the rock. When you took a little trip along the river, you could see the fisher folk pulled up to where they had built little shacks. Of course, these shacks always flooded out and were destroyed during a heavy rainstorm and floods. I don't remember what river this is, but the people lived right either on the boats or on the very edge of the river. And oh, this is a pile of dung. They mixed dung and straw together and dried it in the sun for their fuel, because there were no trees, no wood.
What's dung?
Dung is the leavings from the oxen and the donkeys. It's their
waste.
Their waste, and it's very valuable to them for fuel. This is a shrine. Well, there's a whole family going up to I think it's a Sikh temple. And this is a friend.
You look like Shannon.
Really? Yeah. And here we are on a little fishing boat.
There's Mom.
And this must be Quetta. I think I got mixed up when I was explaining one of the other areas, but I could be mistaken. It sure looks like Quetta. Quetta is a city outside of Karachi, to the west. Whenever we went anywhere, Mebbit always looked so well dressed. She wore pretty skirts and nice blouses. She was always very careful. There, the wind caught hold of her skirt. I wish I could remember exactly where this is, but this looks like it was up in the Kagang Valley. That's our shikari. He was a guide that didn't speak any English. On the way up, we saw the farmers working in their fields, and they worked in pairs like this. One would have a rope tied to the bottom end of the shovel, and the other would guide it, and the one in the foreground then would pull, and then they'd change places. We thought this was very picturesque. You could see it up close there. The children are just looking around. I suppose the children do errands for their fathers when they have to run get them some water to drink or something like that, the cute little guys. And here are our cute little guys walking down the path. This is one of the archaeological sites that we visited. I wonder if this could be either Taxila or Mohenjo-Daro. We'll see in a few minutes. That's obviously Mebbit in the foreground. These pictures have changed color somewhat. I think Mebbit and I tended to wear dresses rather than shorts, because they were actually cooler than shorts, but they were a little more modest in a country like this where shorts might be frowned upon. This looks like one of the early sites. That's a beautiful bird. Too bad there was so little of it. I'm sure this is Mohenjo-Daro. You find reference to this in all the encyclopedias. That
Those
name
are mailboxes.
means, yeah, that name means the city of the dead. And they don't know what happened to the people who lived here. Those ditches were their water supply or sewer system. Hopefully they were all the same. Oh, okay. This is one of the roads built by the British for transport from one area to another. They built little rest houses within a day's journey from one place to another so that their people could go up to the cool of the mountains during the hot summer.
How hot would it get?
Oh, it would get really desperately hot in
Want
Karachi.
some oysters?
Like
And
what?
their air conditioning was nothing but a fan contrived out of a large carpet hung from a bamboo pole and swung back and forth by a boy called a punkah walla. A fan was called a punkah. And the boy was just given a few pittance a day just to make this fan go back and forth and keep you cool. There's a lady in her burqa. The women kept themselves covered most of the time if they were old-fashioned. And then these are some of the beautiful gardens there, and I'm not sure what, I think this was Peshawar. And here we are at the beach again, and Wheaton was playing with Longsob. You could get Longsob to dig when each time you encouraged him, and of course he'd dig down just as far as he could. And Wheaton was really enjoy it. Wheaton would cover up the hole, and then Longsob would dig some more.
I think Wheaton just bunked Mary.
Yeah.
Didn't you say it would get to be 100 degrees and almost 100% humidity? And they'd have to close down the embassy?
Oh, yes. I'd forgotten that. When the secretaries in the office would begin to drip on their papers, they'd close the office. This is Bishop Chandu Ray at the event of the confirmation when Mebet was confirmed. I think he's talking to us into our car, into the car window. He's being a little friendly and self-conscious. Here we are again looking for Easter eggs. It looks like I had the robe I was going to wear to church to play the organ. There I am in my kimono. This must be the changeover to a new film.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, Mebet playing our accordion. This is a little tiny porch right off the house there in Karachi. Just big enough for about 4 or 5 people to sit. It was screened.
What song were they playing?
Oh, the Saints Go Marching In. Yeah. And Robbie had taken up the trombone, and of course the trombones we were able to buy in Pakistan were not too awfully good. When he took it back to Harvard School, I think they kind of laughed at him and rented him a better trombone rather. There he goes. You can almost hear the Saints go marching in. That's kind of fun. Here I am at another birthday party.
Bet you it's Wheaton's this time.
It's probably, and there's Grace and Stephen, her son, who did the cleaning around the floor. They call them the sweepers when they had to clean the floor, and of course they did it on their hands and knees, and they had to do it twice a day in that sandy climate. These are the Muslims worshiping on their special day. Only the men went to church. Sometimes the men would take their little girls, but most of the time they would take their sons. And there were huge tented areas that they went to accommodate all the worshipers. You can see they do this together in groups. I don't know what they said, but there was something prompted their actions and their motions. The cars were parked all around the outside. And there's a father and his two sons a little bit late to the gathering. Of course, they're wearing their newest clothes. Now, there's a father with his three daughters. I had forgotten about that particular group. I don't know any of these people. I think we just happened to drive along and Dad stopped to take pictures. Nobody seemed to object. You can see it's a windy city. It was nearly always windy. Now, oh, this is one of the, let's see. I can't remember. Is it our front yard
Yeah,
again?
Looks like he's got a bird.
Oh, it's down, yeah, I see. It's in Karachi where Robbie and Nate used to handle a kite. Wasn't it a kite that someone gave to Robbie? And he would keep it kind of chained to his arm and then let it fly for exercise up. And then he'd run along and it would land in the trees and then Robbie would retrieve it again.
It looks like a bird.
It is a bird.
It's a bird called a kite.
Uh-huh. And he has a big wing spread. It looks kind of scraggly in this picture, see? I'm surprised that, see, the bird has sharp talons there and claws and beak, and I'm surprised that Robbie did that without gloves on because it was kind of dangerous. Now here the little ones fighting over the use of the hose. You could make almost anything grow if you gave it water.
Was it good soil?
Well, you had to kind of clean it up, furnish some sort of fertilizer. Here's a swimming pool
Was
again.
that water clean?
Not particularly, but you know, you couldn't worry too much about it. Grace is watching, and I don't know exactly where this looks like. Maybe a kind of a bazaar or something. Where you walk along and all the vendors are sitting. There's Grace again. I don't understand just what it
I used to go
is.
down to her little
Her
living quarters and eat chapati.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I loved her chapati.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just
They were
don't
very
remember.
nice.
Weren't they?
Very
It was a
nice.
good Christian family. They were just so nice. I don't remember exactly where this is. I don't even remember seeing these pictures before, but it could be that,
This culture really treasured their children.
yes, they did. They really did. Well, many of their children died probably in early childhood, and they loved them very much. This is one of the shopping streets in Karachi. The last time we went back to Karachi, it hadn't changed at all.
Now it looks like we're at a hotel.
This looks like maybe it's Singapore,
Singapore.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Now,
Oh boy.
that was Robbie, and
Robbie.
who dove in
Ro-
beside him?
There's Mabbott. I don't know who that was.
And there's Nate.
You know, this might have been in Bangkok.
Oh, I think it's Bangkok.
Yeah, it looks
At what
uh-huh.
hotel? What hotel was
In
that? Is that the Erewhon?
Erewhon, that's
Yeah.
probably it.
And
Yeah.
we went back to the Erewhon.
There it is,
when we
you
went-
see? Yeah.
In the 70s, we stayed
That-
at the Erewhon.
That's
again.
right. That's right.
And this is the.
And so much you could tell by the architecture. I just heard from Spence Edwards that one of the floats in this year's 1996 Rose Parade is the Thai float, and it's the Royal Barge that you see in so many of the tourist pictures.
Oh, the 1997 Rose Parade.
Oh, is it? That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
It's
on
97. I was thinking in terms of 96, but it's the first.
You know, I never went on this river when we went to Thailand in the 70s.
Oh, really?
No.
We took the flower, or what do you call it? The barge trip down the river, and where you're besieged by people selling flowers and vegetables and all kinds of things, right out of their boats. And this must have been one of the trips that we made. Look at the vegetables in those boats. It's amazing what they sell. And of course, they lived right there on the river. They're stacked up on stilts, you can see. And with a flood, all of this would wash away. Life was very, very tenuous. You just didn't know whether you were going to wake up the next day to the same house you lived in. Now, those seem to be temples right along the river, too. They kept them in beautiful shape. This is looks like the Temple of the Dawn.
Mhm. And we have some double exposure here.
There it is. Oh, we do. But it's not too bad. You can see a little of this and a little of that in the same picture.
It looks like it's a beach scene behind the temple there.
Oh. Oh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that beautiful? Look at the work that's done in that.
Those are the ghosts. Those are the P.
Oh, those are the P. The ghosts in the back.
P is the word for ghost in Thai.
Okay.
And those are the those are the P that.
I'm sure that's the top of the Temple of Dawn. We could look that up, but.
Did you bring the paper in?
Ginny, did you?
I brought the paper in. Well, we got to stop.
Well, no, you don't have to do that. No. Let's see. Oh, we're feeding the monkeys in the park in Singapore. You can see that in the background, and I think
so
it's
this is Singapore and
well, it may be
Thailand all
it may
together.
be the two places superimposed on each other.
It's a real fast way to watch the videotape.
Yeah.
Watch two vacations in one.
Yeah, and there's the monk walking across the grounds there. They wore those robes and they walked.
Styles haven't changed, you know.
No.
They're still wearing the same
robes.
And
You can see Mary in the background. She's running through the park. This is the youth hostel we stayed in Singapore, and this is the famous story where Dad put Wheaton under the shower to stop his crying on the way on the way back from Karachi.
So he wouldn't bother other people?
Yes, he was crying so hard that he couldn't stop. So Dad just held him under the cold shower.
there's a train.
Of course, that was that was a famous family story. Now this looks like a helicopter of some kind. I bet Dad knows exactly what it is. Here we are loading up to go. Do you suppose this was Guam? Remember the famous story of Wheaton when he got off the plane?
Said, "Mom, where are we?" And he said, "We're in Guam." And he said, "Do Guams bite?"
Sounded like a lizard of some kind, I guess. Oh dear, here we are in some kind of a swimming pool with a forest in the background. We're at Waikiki, aren't we?
No, we stopped off in Hawaii on the way home.
Right. There it is.
And the Goatee Rubber Estate now, that looks like part of Singapore.
Oh, that was part of Singapore.
Yeah, we sure missed out on Singapore.
Yeah, look at that. Where you were tapping the trees, Robbie and... Now, I don't know who that was. I don't think those are pictures of me. Somebody else. There's Hawaii, isn't it?
Diamond Head.
Diamond Head.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a current picture of Hawaii side by side.
Yeah.
This is Hawaii in 1961?
Something like that, yeah.
1960 or 1961. Be interesting to see a picture of it.
Let's see, we were in Karachi from 1958, weren't we? Was that the year that Wheaton was born?
Yeah, I was in first grade when I came back to the States.
Yeah. You spent first grade in the States, and then we went on to the Philippines.
Did you see how few hotels there were down there? So few. Hardly any hotels down there
really?
compared to now.
Oh, I guess so, because I haven't been recently. And I suppose this is part of Hawaii, probably looking from one of the view sites that you drive to when you rent a car. or ride a tour bus. Yeah, it was one of Robbie's new Hawaiian shirts. Everybody had to buy a Hawaiian shirt.
Is that a brownie camera he was holding?
Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. I love those comfortable dresses I had made in Pakistan. Sleeveless and full skirts and
It must have been such a relief to come to Hawaii after living.
oh, it was pretty much of a treat. Yes, there we were on the beach. This was a planned trip by the Kodak company, and I think you went out on buses and gave you plenty of opportunities to take pictures, and they taught you how to dance the what was that, a little
Little grass shack.
a little grass shack. Yes, you could almost put that music to this if you had it. Do you think you have that?
Oh, I could find it.
Or you could put Aloha Oi
Yeah.
or something. Uh-huh. And of course there were grandstands for people to sit in. And these were the large Hawaiian women who kind of typified the older Hawaiian woman that I think being heavy was a sign of good fortune and wealth, as it is in Asia. You don't see too many fat Asians. And then, oh, I think our picture, you could see some of us in the background. They love their flowers and grass skirts, and they like to have pictures taken of them. Looks like the boys are swimming in the background. They didn't care much for this. There's Wheaton and Ginny and Mama. Of course, I had my latest purchase, a muumuu. I wore that for years, and I kept taking it apart to remake a new one. Now, here's another picture of Diamond Head, and we're climbing up on the raft out from the beach at Waikiki. That water was so, yeah, that water was so delicious to swim in. It was just beautiful. I can't remember exactly what time of year this was. It may have been August.
There's you.
So what is Dad doing? Is he on a boat right now taking pictures?
It's hard to say. Maybe he's from another. Well, how could he get out there with the camera? Because he didn't have an underwater camera. It could be that that he was in some kind of a little rowboat. There they were on the beach. As I remember, the beach was not very wide. The sand. It looked like it was quite narrow. Ooh, wow! Look at that. Boy, they loved to bomb into the water, didn't they?
Is that you, Mom?
No, I don't think
That
these
was
are.
Robbie. That could be Nate.
Oh, no, he had a full suit on. I think that was somebody else.
This is Mary.
Mary, uh-huh. There we go. We love to take pictures of the kids diving and swimming in the water. I'm not sure where this was taken. Aloha, it says. Oh, this is
Aloha.
this is the dock where our ship, or I guess it was a ship, took off from to sail to Los Angeles. And these boys were all anxious for you to drop coins in the water so they could dive after them. They were very good at retrieving, dimes and nickels and quarters.
That must be hard.
Yeah.
With no goggles.
Well, the water was so clear, and this is some of the storage area there at the dock. And here's pictures with that tower in the background.
Little Wheaton.
Hanging on. They gave flower lace to everybody, and those lovely little catamaran boats. I think they spent the day just enjoying watching these steamships move away from the dock. We didn't find the trip too much fun in a way because we were very confined to our quarters during part of the day. Here we are already. I think we're arriving in Los Angeles, and when we arrived, we could see Betty, who is Betty Sprunger now, Daddy's sister, and my sister and her family. They all came down to the dock in L.A. to greet us. Are we in L.A. now, or are we still in Hawaii? I guess. Oh, my.
I think that's L.A.
Maybe it is.
It's got
Maybe it is.
Palos Verdes in the background.
This is one of the riggers that they, what do they call it, sailboats that they use for training. And they have it parked at the dock, whatever they docked at the wharf.
There's Dad.
Is that Dad?
There's Dad in the picture version.
Oh, for goodness sakes,
You
are
must
you
be
sure?
taking a picture.
I guess so.
Hmm.
Well, I guess so. Everybody waving.
No, I guess
No,
that.
we're
you know what?
still on board the
Yeah,
ship.
that wasn't L.A.
That wasn't L.A. That was saying goodbye to Hawaii. Too bad we didn't edit this well, but who cares? This is where I think Ginny did a lot of her swimming practice.
You mean where I worked on learning to swim?
Yeah.
Dad taught me on the boat.
Well, the swimming pool was pretty small, but at least it was usable. We've got some nice music in the background. Doesn't. What is that music? I've forgotten.
Classical jazz.
Classical jazz, yeah. Here we are, saying goodbye to Hawaii. It stands to reason that Dad took a lot of pictures on the boat. It's a very photogenic kind of trip to
So
have.
you said you were confined to your quarters. What do you mean?
Well,
by that?
when we had small children who needed to be in after lunch, they just felt that everybody who had small children had to be quiet in the afternoon. And then there was a difference in, see, Wheaton was the small child. In the sitting, the small children were not allowed in the second sitting when adults, there's how about
second-
that stroke?
Yeah, is that me?
That's you.
The proverbial dog paddle.
Yeah. There you are, with your tube.
I remember being pretty disgusted with having to take a nap when I didn't.
Oh
And
yeah.
I wasn't tired.
Well.
So they weren't accommodating to little children. It wasn't.
No, they had kind of a nursery at a certain time of morning, I think, but it didn't last in the afternoon. So you had to assign one of your older children or one of your adults to sit with the early sitting at dinner, like the 5 o'clock sitting. And then after that was over, about 6:30, then the older people were allowed.
So now we're in L.A.
Oh, all right. You're probably right. Here we are. Do you think that's one of the
Yes.
L.A.?
That's L.A. Now you can talk about all the people.
There's
that came
Don. There's Don
that came to visit.
Maxon and Betty and Leslie and probably the boys. Sort of an observation place that they have for the families to view the incomers. Now let's see. Oh, is that
That's
Betty?
Betty, yeah.
That's Betty and Big Jim. Remember her husband?
Yeah.
And there's Robert Lee.
They haven't seen us for 4 years.
No. Unless
They probably hadn't seen us before that either because we were on the East Coast.
could be. We may have had, oh, that's Betty's little dog.
Remember his name?
Yes. Oh, no, I can't remember his name.
Oh,
I was really skinny then. There's Disneyland.
The Disneyland
Yeah.
was only about 6 years old at this time.
Is that right?
Hmm.
That
I was born
I think it was the only time we ever went to Disneyland. Uh, I may have gone one other time, but as a family, I think that was the only time that we went. Oh, well, we had all 5 kids together, and
Boy, that must have been expensive.
probably was. Do they still have that pirate
Yes,
ship
they
out
still
there?
have the pirate ship and Tom Sawyer's Island and there's the Matterhorn.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I remember we did a lot of things there. Oh, my. Let's see. This is still part of Disneyland. There's Wheaton in tow. Do they still have the garbage men who walk around with their carts like that? They do? And they have these little tents and just places like little trolley cars to sit on and ride around. Yeah, look at that. It must be a very photogenic place because we were all together with lots of camera pictures. These seem to be a little dark. I'm sorry that there's so much of it. We could have cut some of it out. Now, here we are. We had to bring that car back with us because we weren't allowed to sell it in Pakistan. So we set it early enough so that it was at the dock pretty much by the time we got there. And here we are traveling in the car up the California coast, and these must be the big trees. Those are deer that come down to get be hand fed by people. This is going up the coast. You see the deer are so tame that they come right up to everybody. Of course, the bear will tend to do this too, but they're rather dangerous to feed. Dinky, you don't see that deer, do you? You remember the deer that chased you in the forest?
Dinky's sitting in Mom's lap right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's Wheaton. Goodness. Those deer just... Now, that's Nanny. Oh, you've got a picture of Nanny, Granddaddy's wife. Uh-huh. And maybe Robbie and Mebbit remember Nanny. Now, these buffalo, where are they? We took this trip through California and then on up into Glacier, and these could be in Glacier National Park. I don't think Ginny remembers the time we camped and we found those awful scorpions all over the ground. Maybe you remember the stories Dad told. So we had to pick up our sleeping bags and shake them and put them in the car and sleep, all of us in that station wagon. That's the San Francisco Bay Bridge, isn't it? No, it's Golden Gate. It's the Golden Gate, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. In the fog, the way it usually is.
Very windy.
Very windy. Look at the boys were trying to keep their hats from falling off. Excuse me. Yep. Well, this is a landmark trip on our way north.
This is at the hill.
This is Burnham Hill, right. Well, we did stop here.
Don't you think? Is that where it is?
I don't know who this car
Maybe.
belonged to.
Oh, I don't know if this is the hill. This might be,
Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's, oh, it's Murphy's. That's
Murphy's.
That's Jim. That's Jim.
oh, those wonderful
Uh-huh.
dogs. I can remember
Oh.
picking blackberries.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I don't...
Dad and his birds.
Dad and his birds. He had to stop whenever he saw a bird. Now, I'm not sure where this waterfall is, but maybe there will be a hint pretty soon. The family.
Oh.
Is this
Karen,
sure?
Karen identified that bird as a quail. She thinks
Oh.
it was a quail.
Well,
Very good, Karen.
now, let's see. Where is... Oh, that was...
Emerald Bay.
That's Emerald Bay. But I think that was Shirley Lake, that trip up Shirley Lake,
Oh,
that
the
waterfall.
waterfall was
Yeah.
Shirley Lake.
Yeah. And of course, this is
Wow,
the
you recognize
pool.
that, Karen?
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Looking up from the tent cabin.
Yeah, uh-huh.
When it was truly a tent cabin.
Truly. Oh, how much fun we had in those early days when the whole family was up there. And this is the porch. See, it used to have a little rail there at the entrance,
Uh-huh.
and this is all pretty much the way it is now. And we didn't have the benches then. You see the bench?
Oh, right.
Uh-huh. Dad built those benches in recent years, but they don't show in these pictures. You can see the aspen, how they quiver and quake. Uh-huh. I guess this is another view from the tent cabin.
You know what's wonderful about this is to see that the hill hasn't changed much.
Not all that much. And the leaves look very golden. This must be quite late in the year. Oh, we came home in August, so this must have been late. And in fact, it was so late that when we went on camping through Canada, it even snowed. There's more view from tent cabin, I suppose. No, it must be from one of the other areas. Those are the sequoias, do you see, that Granddaddy
Looks
planted.
like some of the same chairs.
Well, maybe,
some of 'em.
but Fran has certainly replenished the pool with beautiful furniture. The kids are still enjoying the same water. It's wonderful to think that so many have grown up. Whoops. Oh, over he goes. Oh.
Who's watching?
It looks to me like that might have been Grammy in the picture. Now, this might have been one of the trips that Dad took. I can't believe he would carry a camera, but he did tend to want to take pictures of some of his camping trips. So it may be that he took the camera with him then. Or it might have been one of the high country drives that he made. You know, like we go up through Barker Creek to get a picture of the skyline, all the wilderness area. But I'm not real sure. Oh, this may be as we left Burnham Hill and started up into the other national parks.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Do you remember we went to...
I don't remember this trip, but look how beautiful it is.
This may be up in Canada. We went to Lake Louise. We went to, as I said, Glacier National Park. And at one point, we were on a highway and the rock fell down off to the side of the hill and smashed into the side of the car and scared Mabbit to death. Don't blame her. I don't know if it broke the window, but it was risky driving along there.
Now, what was the trip where we left
Well,
Nathan in the gas station?
Oh, it was this trip, I think.
Why don't you tell that story?
Oh, well, I think it was this trip, yeah. We stopped out of Salt Lake, or it was in Salt Lake City, to have some repairs done on the car. Dad didn't like the sound of it, the engine or something, the gears. And so we were all loading up, and we thought everybody was in the car, but we didn't count noses. And so somebody said, yep, everybody's here, and off we went. Evidently, Nate had gotten out of the car at the last minute to use the bathroom, and somewhere out of the city we stopped, and the car was giving us trouble. So we decided to turn around and go back. And we got back to the gas station, and there was Nate looking very forlorn, as though nobody wants me anymore. And so We made peace with him.
We didn't even know he had been
No,
missing.
we didn't even miss him. There we are on the trip. I guess we had stopped at a museum. It looks like it was cold. And I don't even know what museum this was, but
Looks beautiful.
oh, isn't it? Oh, we've seen some beautiful gardens. I have a feeling this is near Lake Louise.
What scenery it must be.
Yeah, this scenery is just gorgeous all over the United States. There's so much to see. And I barely touched the surface as I remember, but I wonder if these are some of the Tetons. People would laugh at me for not knowing, but it's hard to remember. The Tetons are so unique because they have those nice peaks so close together. Now let's see what this is. The pictures are not very clear. Oh, that's the moose that crossed the highway. I think it was a moose. No, it looked like a great big buck, deer. Crossing the highway, we had to stop. And who knows what this is? Keep looking for subtitles. See if it would tell me something, but anyway, maybe the kids remember some of these places. Oh, now what does
Paradise
that say?
Valley.
Paradise Valley. You know there must be hundreds of Paradise
I
Valley.
remember going to the Indian
Oh, yes.
places. That must have impressed me. Because I do remember
To
this.
see a real live teepee.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this scene is, but more of the mountain.
Well, it indicates where all the different mountains are.
See, we got to watch for the time because Karen has to go someplace.
Not till.
This is probably one of the parks in Canada where, let's see. Oh, I think this is in back in Virginia now.
At Camp Perry?
Doesn't it look like it? Sure looks
am I
like our
having a tea party here?
Yeah, sure looks like our backyard. We have
fall too.
yeah,
The
and
time's right.
we have an umbrella type of a clothesline. Did you see that?
Yeah.
We didn't have
Didn't
dryers
have a
in
clothes
those.
dryer.
No.
Must have been awful in the wintertime. How did you dry your
Oh
clothes in the
yeah.
wintertime?
Well, you just hang them up and they blow dry in the wind.
You probably avoided washing too many clothes, huh?
Well, we did what we had to, and but of course, with children, you have to expect everybody to. These must be neighbor kids because at least one of them is. That's Wheaton and Ginny, but there was another child in the background. So this is the same fall that we returned to Virginia. And I don't, we still had our house in Bethesda, but we didn't live there right away. Here we are reading, and this must be at Christmas, because I'm reading at that picnic table that we have in the backyard even now. And Ginny likes to climb in the cupboard like Karen does and do cooking things. So she must be up there getting some crackers or something. Were you, I guess you were about 5 then, is that right, Ginny?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And this is,
Army
the
Navy
boys
game.
are going off on the Army-Navy game. There are the Littells, our friends who kept the puppies when we went off to the Philippines.
Oh, right. She had
Uh-huh.
that beautiful hair.
Oh, she did. It was a reddish brown. There she is. Such a pretty woman. I don't know if she's still alive. They finally moved from Portugal, where they retired, to Florida. There's the Army band. Wow, what an occasion. That was so exciting.
Did we all go to this game?
Oh,
or
no,
just the
no,
girls?
Daddy and I were the only ones. We left you kids in different places. Well, I guess, oh, gee, I can't remember how we managed this. It seemed to me that this is in a wrong sequence. But then I won't even pretend to straighten it out. We must have left the kids all back there at Camp Perry while we went to the game.
Huh, the cheerleader's up on the roof there? Or
Looked like it, didn't it?
is he conducting this?
Yeah, conducting all those bands. Or, see, these are the cadets. They all marched in. Looking at their hats are so pretty. And then they had to find their seats. So the cadets in the Army and whatever they called them in the seamen in the Navy all marched in behind their bands, and then they had to run to find their seats. Looks like there was a fracas over there on the sidelines. I don't know. Everybody running. We ought to have some good march music.
Good marching music.
Good